It's starting now, my dear. Okay. Can you close the door, please? All right, muy buenas tardes. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lily Pinedo Giancay. I'm the program director of the Chicanx Latinx Student Success Center. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and we're super excited to be hosting you all for this informational webinar titled Building Connections with the Latinx Student Success Community at San Jose State. This is what we have prepared for you in this next hour. So I'm going to be having the rest of my team introduce themselves here momentarily so you know who makes up some of the Centro team, but also we have some of our partners and supporters. We will then engage you in a quick poll activity. We want to know who's here, who's in the house. We will then move to telling you a little bit more about our mission. And so for those of you who attended our webinar a couple weeks ago, the first version of our ASD virtual open house, we went a little bit more into the history of Centro, how we came about. But if you want to know more about that, we won't go too much into it for this session. But if you want to know more about that, let us know in the Q&A, and we can always send you that recording from that webinar if you didn't have a chance to watch it. I will speak to our approach. How do we support Latinx student success, not only at Centro, but overall as a campus? And then most importantly, I think this is where a lot of you have questions on is how are we going to support you starting the fall semester? And so we're gonna touch a little bit upon the fall 2020 programming, the services that we're gonna be offering for you to feel connected, not only to Centro, but to San Jose State as a whole. And we will then also transition into you being able to hear from our student success leaders directly, hearing their testimonials about what their experiences have been like working with us at Centro, but also being a student at San Jose State. And then lastly, we'll leave some time for some Q&A. Now, during this entire presentation, there is a little box at the bottom for you to ask questions along the way. I do want to stress that the focus of our presentation this afternoon, we only have 60 minutes with you, is focusing on how you can build connections with the Latinx Student Success community. I know that there are a lot of questions regarding housing and financial aid and admissions. We do have some referrals for you, but we will not be getting into the nitty-gritty on that topic. We do have a few folks with us today that can help answer some of those questions, but we will be redirecting so you at least get some answers to that. We will also be recording all the questions at the end. So if for some reason we're not answering the questions live here through this webinar, we may be experiencing some technical difficulties. Please rest assured that we are recording the questions and we would follow up with you after the presentation is over so you have those answers. So as I mentioned, my name is Lily Pinedo Giancay. I serve as the director of the Chicanx Latinx Student Success Center. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I too identify as the first in my family to attend college, so I know what a lot of you may be feeling and experiencing. It is very exciting, but it could also be very overwhelming, trying to navigate all the information that is coming your way. One thing that I love about San Jose State is the energía, the energy that our students bring with them, the ideas that they bring. All of that helps inform what we do at Centro. So that's something that I just love doing. You'll hear a little bit more from it. Yesenia is one of our student success leaders with Centro, and something that I've appreciated that she always brings with her to the space, to Centro, is her energía. Every morning, especially on Fridays when it's been a long day and I'm exhausted, she'll say, "Buenos dias," really loud, and it just wakes me up, but I appreciate that because it helps me get through the week. So the energía of our students is what gets me going and motivates me. Now I'm going to turn it over to the rest of my team to introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Elisa Aquino and I'm the program coordinator at the Chicanx Latinx Student Success Center. I use pronouns she, her, hers, and I'm also a first generation college student. So, entering college, I understand what it felt like, just being on a new campus and having to navigate the different resources. And I would say something that I really like about San Jose State is the sense of community. And it's a very diverse community, and you have a lot of nuanced experiences. And specifically at the Centro, I've had the opportunity of meeting a lot of great students and with different stories that make our comunidad so special. And next.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Magdalena Barrera. I'm a professor of Chicana and Chicano Studies and also the department chair. My pronouns are also she, her, hers. And like everyone has shared so far, I'm also a first generation college student. So again, I too understand what many of the challenges are as you begin to navigate this path. I'm really excited to begin working with you. Something I love about being at SJSU, and this is picking up on what Elisa just shared, is I love that we have a very tight-knit Latinx community. And this is important to me because it's not just students who can draw from and gain from the success, are not the only ones who need the support and community in order to achieve your goals, but the reality is that we as faculty and staff also need this community of support, and it's a big point of pride to be able to contribute to it and also draw strength from it.
Hola, hola. My name is Yesenia Guzman. I am one of the student success leaders at the Centro. I am a second year, well now third year, business marketing student. And thank you, Lily, for the good energy. Yes, one of the things that I love about San Jose State is that it allows me to express myself. And I know that I'll meet people who are also appreciative of that and who also are loving and caring as well, and very supportive overall. So yeah. Oh, and one fun fact about me is that I went skydiving in last November.
Hey everybody, my name is Nicholas Jimenez. I'm another student success leader. I'm really excited to get to meet all of you. A little bit about me. I am a incoming senior now. I'm going into my 4th year. I study industrial design, and I've been fortunate enough to work at the Centro now for a year, but also getting to know Lily as a student that kind of attended frequently. Something that I really like about the space is that it's very welcoming. Everybody's very like warm and makes you feel like at home and treats you like familia. And it's a really good place to find new friends, connect, find resources. And that's something that I got to learn firsthand. Something fun. I really love the art scene in San Jose. So that's kind of actually how Lily and I connected over the kind of work that I do outside of school. So that's really cool.
And now I'm going to turn it over to one of our campus partners. Without her, you know, many of you wouldn't be joining us this afternoon. And so I want to have the pleasure of having our colega, amiga, familia member, hermana, tía de todo, introduce herself.
Thank you, Lily. Wow, I'm the tía. Hi, everyone. Deanna Gonzalez, Director of Undergraduate Admissions and Outreach at San Jose State. I am so happy to be here with you. One of the things that I love about San Jose State is exactly this event right now, this session, the fact that we're reaching out and in a different modality, a different way. We're very fancy, and we reached out to you in a different method. Otherwise, we would be sitting in a classroom or in a space. We would love to see your faces, but this is what we're doing. And I love the fact that our togetherness. The picture, I would have sent you a nicer picture of me. But the picture that you see on the screen is me working our pozole night for study nights, our final. It's one of the best events on campus. It brings us together. I love the connectivity that we have together as a family, as a familia, as a comunidad. And so being a longtime employee, staff member at San Jose State, that I've grown to love this group of folks, our Centro, and it's just lovely. And I want to echo all of the things that have been said by our partners here about familia and about community. So welcome. And fun fact, Fun fact is, I don't know about everybody on the panel, but I was raised in Santa Clara County. I went to school here. I'm an alum at San Jose State. I've been working at San Jose State for 31 years. So I am very happy that you are choosing San Jose State. Thank you.
Thank you, Deanna. And I actually really love this picture of Deanna. I think, this picture, they say a picture says 1,000, they say 1,000 words. And so we're here to serve our students, and literally here to serve our students, especially when we have these amazing events, including our infamous Pozole study night. Well, before we get into the nitty-gritty of our presentation, I want to know who's here. So I'm going to go ahead and launch this poll. It has 4 different questions. We hope you can engage us. We're really sad that we can't actually see you in person. I'm glad you can at least see us, but we want to know who is here this afternoon. So if you can let us know what region you are residing in currently. And then also, are you coming in as a frosh, or will you be joining us from one of our local community colleges or a community college? So you're coming in as a transfer student? Do you identify, like many of us, who are maybe the first in our families to go to college? And lastly, this is the big $1 million question. Have you made your decision? Will you be attending San Jose State and joining our Spartan community in the fall? So take a few minutes just to complete that survey, and then I will post the results to see who's joining us this afternoon. And again, as we wait to hear your responses, don't forget that you could ask us questions along the way using the Q&A box that's at the bottom of your screen, and we will be having some of our staff answering those questions along the way. Okay, about another 30 seconds, and we'll go ahead and post the results. All right, so let's share these results and see who's here. All right, not surprised, the majority of you are coming from Northern California, but hey, we do have some representation from our Central Valley, so any folks from Fresno out there, welcome. Our Central Coast, interested to see if anybody from Watsonville is around, Salinas, Santa Cruz. Southern California, we have a few folks coming from Southern California, very good. No one from out of state or outside the country at this time, but please know that we do have some of our international students that will be attending San Jose State in the fall. Wow, our transfer student community, 70% of you are representing this afternoon. We will be targeting you this upcoming fall. We want to know that what are your experiences as a transfer student? And we do have some initiatives specific to our transfer students because we know it's a very different experience than it is if you were here all 4 years. The majority of you are like us. We do identify as first gen, and so do you, 85%. That's great. And let's see the big $1 million question. So majority of you have completed your next step, so that's exciting. We can't wait to meet you in the fall semester. Couple of you are in the process, and a few of you are undecided. So we hope that some of the information in this webinar will, this afternoon, and I know there's a few more webinars happening later in the afternoon, will help you with that decision making. So thank you for engaging us in that. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and move into the mission of Centro, and I will have Elisa, our program coordinator, tell you a little bit more about that.
Hi everyone, so our mission is informed and inspired by the many cultural strengths of the Latinx communities. Centro offers innovative programming and support services that are intentionally designed to enhance Latinx student success. As a result, Centro provides spaces that affirm students' intersecting identities, validate their academic capabilities, develop their leadership skills, and foster healthy relationships while promoting civic and community engagement. Overall, Centro aims to provide a visible space for Latinx students to have a place where you can get holistic support from faculty, staff, and get connected and build community with other Chicanx Latinx students. SJSU is a large campus with many resources, and now as many of you are looking to start your journey here at San Jose State in a time where some of your engagement will even be virtual engagement, it is important to know of places where you can reach out when you need support or have any questions. And Centro is one of those places. where you can do so. The Chicanx Latinx Student Success Center upholds and really centers and values comunidad or community, and estamos aquí para servirles. We're here to support you. And I want to share a little bit about what brought me to work here at the Centro. And being a first-generation college student, I attended UC Santa Cruz, but I was very fortunate enough to come across the Centro at UC Santa Cruz. And there, not only did I meet a community of really wonderful and exceptional staff and students that were able to connect me to research opportunities, jobs, and internships. And, you know, I think also as a first generation student, sometimes we have a lot of experience doing things on our own, especially, you know, applying to college, given that some of our parents haven't attended college before. And so we have that tendency of doing things on our own, but places like El Centro is here to ensure that you don't have to go through these challenges on your own, especially as you're navigating San Jose State. So we're here to support you. And I hope that you are able to reach out to us for any support that you might need throughout your journey here at San Jose State. Gracias.
Thank you, Elisa. So I'm going to share a little bit about, so how do we do this? How do we fulfill our mission? What is our approach? So one of them is that we take a very holistic approach to supporting you, supporting our students. And what that means is we understand that you are not just a student, right? Many of you are caretakers for your familias. You yourself are a parent or a guardian. Many of you have to work while going to school. And so we want to ensure that our approach to supporting you is very holistic in nature. So we're going to support you not just academically, but we will support you socially, culturally, emotionally. We know that we want to make sure that you're able to bring your whole self to our university. You all carry different social identities, so not just your student identity, but your ethnic identity, your cultural identity, your familial identities. And so our job is to make sure that we can help you bridge those. You shouldn't have to separate those. And so that's one of the most important things that we do, because we know that that's key to your success. The other is, and you heard this earlier, is we take a student-centered approach. You help inform the work that we do. You know, there's a lot of information out there about what Latinx students experience in institutions of higher education. A lot of that is embedded and grounded in the research that's done, and so we do look to that. But we want to make sure that we're current with strategies and practices that are going to make sure that we support you in every way, not just in your transition to San Jose State, but throughout your 4 years or 2 years if you're here, even longer, and even post San Jose State. And all of this is really relationship focused. So we want to make sure that we create these connections with you so that we can have a mutual understanding of one another, that we can trust each other, right? We talk about the importance of confianza, because the more we know each other and we can understand our experiences, the better equipped we are to support you and being able to connect you to the right resources, to the right people, so that they can help guide you. Because Centro alone, we're a small team. We can't do it all. We do really depend on the partnership of our campus resources and our colleagues across San Jose State. And so we're here to help be that bridge and connect you and have those connections with faculty, with staff, with our administrators, even our alumni. And lastly, our approach is very much strength-based. So we know that all of you are already bringing a wealth of knowledge, of skills, of talents, of abilities with you to San Jose State. And we want to make sure that we leverage those so that you could be successful. So you already got here, you've been admitted. That in itself is a big accomplishment. And so we want to make sure that we continue supporting you and leveraging what you already bring to our campus. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Professor Barrera, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the importance of connecting with your professors, also known as faculty. And this is just one of the ways that you can start building connections with us at San Jose State.
Hey, thanks, Lily. I think you can move to the, actually, don't move to the next. Oh, I think you have more on this slide. And you're muted.
All right. So yes, so we're going to talk about the importance of connections with professors. We're going to talk about connections to the student success leaders and the broader Latinx student community. connections to the personal counselors, and then of course our academic and career advisors. I know there were some questions regarding academic advising, so we'll touch upon that here momentarily. And all right, now take it away, Professor.
I am really excited to talk to you about connecting with professors and the importance of it. And I want to start off by saying that I want to acknowledge that the idea of talking to professors can be very intimidating and scary. I know this because I never used to do it when I was in college. I remember on the first day of class, my professors would say, "Oh, my office hours are Tuesday mornings." And I would think, okay, that's great. Like, doesn't apply to me because I don't even know what office hours are. And I don't really want to see you outside of class, because my experience in high school was always that if you had to see the teacher or an administrator outside of class, it meant you were in trouble, right? So now that I am a professor, now I have a bigger picture of why it's really important and all the good things that can come from it. So you'll see here 5 key ways that connecting with professors really benefits you in your experience here as a college student at SJSU. And so, number 1 is connecting with professors gives you the chance to clear up any questions that you may have about the readings, the assignments, and to in fact strengthen your understanding of what's being discussed in class. Now, this is important to know, and I hope that you all will take away from today the reminder that no one expects you to already know the things that you came here to learn, right? As a faculty member, as a professor, I don't think you already know all of this. And so the further we get from like the first time we learn something, the harder it is to remember, like what's challenging about being in that learner space for the first time. So it's a good reminder to faculty when you ask the questions for clarification. Second is, if you connect with professors, you can get some really interesting behind the scenes insights. For example, say you're interested in studying psychology and you're with one of your psychology professors, you can connect with them and learn, like, how did you get on this path? What excites you about this area of psychology? What do you really think about, this current event and how it relates to some of what we've been talking about in class? Third, you can get support beyond the class, and connecting with professors is a really key way that you can discover new connections and opportunities on campus. For example, if you're in my class and once we are able to have a one-on-one discussion and you tell me perhaps, hey, I like to write poetry and that's just something that's always been a passion of mine, I'm going to file that, want to remember that, so that as opportunities come my way, then I can say, hey, I remember you told me you have an interest in poetry. Well, I know someone who's looking for contributions to a new poetry journal, and maybe this could be a good opportunity for you to share some of your work. It's an example. 4, you're going to be able to build a strong reference network so that when it comes time to apply for new scholarships, to jump on internship opportunities, to compile job references, you're going to have a team of faculty who really know you, who are able to provide strong letters of recommendation, to be really good advocates and references for you, so that you're able to make the most of those opportunities, right? And you're not left wondering, well, they need 2 letters of rec, but I don't even know any of my professors really, right? You don't want to be in that position. And then 5, in a way this circles back up to number 1, connecting with professors enables you to help them, or I should say us, be better professors in the first place. Again, like your comments and questions in class, the things that you're excited about, the connections that you see with contemporary events, when you bring all that to my class, it's like, it just enlivens me and it gets me thinking in more critical ways about how can I help other students make these connections, or maybe you are able to see things and frame it in a way that never would have occurred to me. You make me a better professor when you raise these questions and ideas. Can you do the next slide, Lily? So there's a couple ways that you can make these connections with faculty. So during class, you want to do your best to the best extent possible. And I know we're all really stretched thin in this time of shelter in place, trying to adjust to remote classes when we oftentimes didn't expect to be learning this way. But during class, do your best to keep up with the readings and assignments as the semester goes on. Now, this is key because it leads to the next point. When you're up to date, then that enables you to participate in class meetings, or if there's discussion boards going on, you don't want to feel like you're always behind the curve and having to catch up to the conversation. You can initiate new conversations or bring a really interesting question or comment to class. And in fact, I'm going to encourage you to make that your goal this semester is across your classes, try to participate with at least one comment or question in every single class. Now, if, all our classes, most of our classes at SJSU this fall are going to be remote. So if you're having Zoom meetings with your faculty, one way that you can connect is to give us visual cues or responses as the class is going on. So for example, you can type the comments in the chat during the Zoom class, or just try to look at the camera. If you have your video enabled, please nod and give us a thumbs up if we ask you something. It's really weird as a professor who's used to being in person with everyone to see a bunch of blank screens or not know if anyone's amused by your jokes, etc. So give those visual cues, and it helps us connect names to faces. Outside of class, you should definitely communicate your questions and concerns, your ideas. This can be via email, maybe during via Canvas is another way you can communicate with your faculty if they have that set up. You should definitely aim to visit your professors during their office hours. And again, please make it a goal to visit each of your faculty at least once early in the semester. Give us a chance to get to know you. And then finally, you can attend campus events, whether they're live. One day we'll be back face-to-face, or for now, if they're virtual, make that effort to be seen and learn new things outside of class. Come back to class, say, hey, I just heard this speaker talking about blah, 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 and it seems like maybe there's a connection with what we were talking about last week. This would impress your faculty so much. And one good set of things you can do to be connected and look out for this campus event is through Centro. We offer now in its 6th year a series on academic resilience. So these are interactive workshops that I run. We cover a series of topics such as defining your own vision of success, learning about the cultural and familial values that we all bring to campus, how to set SMART goals, connecting with faculty, and preparing for midterms and finals. Really hope to see you there. We're going to keep this session going, even if it has to be remote or pre-recorded somehow, but I look forward to having these discussions with you. And I'm just so excited that you'll be joining us this fall. Thanks.
Hello. So as student success leaders, me and Nicolas will be sharing a little bit about the importance of connecting to students and creating these relationships on campus. As a student myself, I value the connections that I've made with many people on campus. And so one of the biggest things that we work towards is building community. And with that is our practice of peer mentoring, where we not only support you with your transition, but with that support comes connecting you to different resources on campus that will help you succeed in college, and as well as sharing different personal well-being strategies to support you in your journey, not only in your academic journey, but your personal, your professional. And with that comes self-care, and knowing as first generation, this can come with a lot of pressure. And it's important to know that you're not alone in this journey. So that's one of the biggest things that we make sure is to make sure that you feel supported, and that you know that you have a family at the Centro. And Nicolas can share a little bit about the different workshops that we do to help y'all in your journeys.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Yesenia. So one of the really cool things about Centro as a space, and I will be talking about prior to the whole shelter in place, we do have workshops that we are planning to have virtually. And so stay tuned for that. It's not that we are completely stopping them, but workshops in the way that we do them are to build one community, to have students engage with us and the staff at Centro. So topics could range things from time management, how to kind of acclimate to the campus, whether it's talking about like basic questions of like, where do I find this building? Who do I go for resources? Personal experiences, how we've navigated choosing classes, how we've been able to kind of move forward at school. But an example of a workshop, to name one, could be how to write a statement for graduate school. If you're a transfer student thinking about higher ed, another one could be about how do I want to do an art show? That's one that I had held last semester. How do I plan an art show on campus, and how do I go about that? If you were an art major and wanted to actually host one for your BFA, something that Yesenia had done early on in the semester was how do you plan for success early on in your semester, how you can set up a planner, how you can schedule your classes within that planner so that you know what to expect, and how to use your syllabus and tips and strategies that can, you know, help you in the long run. And what's really cool about our workshops is on occasion we will offer lunch. So it's a convivio, so you'll come. It's also less formal, so it's not so much us lecturing or but rather it's something of a dialogue, and where you can actually come and feel welcome to give your input or things that you're struggling with or things that you just have questions, and kind of bring that forward. And so that way we're all learning from each other. I know Lily had mentioned that a lot of you are transfer students. I myself am a transfer student. And so, you know, community college where I was at, you know, had its own pace. But then here at San Jose State, it's another pace and kind of intimidating. And so being able to have a space like the Centro and having workshops that are catered to transfer students, for example, are really beneficial and actually make you kind of feel that you have a community and that you have support and someone to turn to, really, because that's the whole goal. You know, you made it this far. You're on that, you know, line of are you coming to San Jose State, and so it'd be really great. So if you do take that decision, that you know that we're here to support you. So
Yeah, and so with that coming full circle, us as student success leaders are here to bring you that apoyo and that knowledge that we as students can relate to all together. And now adapting to this, you know, new virtual reality in this past semester, now past semester, you know, we work together to still have that sense of community going on, even with or even outside of the centro, everyone in their homes. And so we created these pláticas that we called pláticas in Zoom to talk about our situations and make sure that we're sharing how we feel. I know that sometimes the environment can be different, you know, being on campus and then now learning at home. So one of the biggest things that we talked about in these pláticas, so these pláticas were held on Zoom, and everyone was able to, you know, share their experiences from home. And one of the things that we would talk about was adapting to a new virtual learning experience, where me and Nicolas will talk about more in detail our unique experiences later. But, you know, how to manage your time while being at home, how to plan your schedules, and seeking that support that is still needed even during this transition. Another big thing was staying connected with the Centro community. So one of the biggest things that Centro does, or that we work towards in the Centro, is making sure that we have this sense of familia on campus and in our academic journeys. And so as a student success leaders, we're there to talk to other students who visit the Centro virtually. Profes would drop in and, you know, also share their experiences, and how to stay connected through our social media, which is where we share most of our information and our events. And if y'all haven't already, make sure to follow us on Instagram so you can, you know, stay up to date on what's going on. Our Instagram handle is Centro_SJSU. And so there you can also stay in the loop and get connected. Another big thing was taking care of yourselves right now, taking care of ourselves while in this, you know, pandemic, and how do we adjust to this new virtual reality, you know? And so we all talked about our different habits, our practices, what we were doing at home to take care of ourselves. And some of those things, you know, we're engaging in reading, getting more sleep, and practicing gratitude through walks, through communication with family, and staying present during this time. You know, it can be difficult, but all together, we make sure that we're here to make y'all know that you have a familia to depend on.
Okay, So I will now be talking about connections to personal counselor. The Centro is located at a prime location on campus near the center. So we have a lot of, students that are coming into our space. And so we try to make an effort to make different resources accessible to you. And we try to bring in as many resources as possible into our Centro space. And so one of them is the Counseling and Psychological Services, also known as CAPS. And we have a liaison who is also known as our comadre or madrina, Dr. or Celinda Miranda, who is a licensed clinical social worker. And she's there to help, folks with drop-in consultations. She also facilitates support groups, and she leads different workshops. And this is really to help students identify and accomplish academic and career goals, improve interpersonal relationships, and meet life challenges. And just to add on to that, this past spring semester, she also had drop-in consultations for students to help students adapt to this virtual experience of, taking online classes and adapting to that. So our liaison to Celinda Miranda is a great person, and hope that you can meet her soon.
Thank you, Elisa. And I know some of you have already been asking some of these questions regarding access to academic advisors, especially for those of you who have already said yes to coming to San Jose State, and maybe you're already considering coming to orientation and preparing for the class registration. So you will be able to have access to an academic advisor from your college during Sparta Camp or during your transfer, those of you who are transferred during that experience in the summer, and they will be able to guide you on what classes you'll be able to take to make progress. Once the academic year begins, we have our in-house academic advisors. They're connected, so they're not our own, they're connected to the College Student Success Centers from the following colleges. So we will be having a representative from engineering, from business, social sciences, humanities and the arts, education, health and human science, and we're still working on securing an advisor to represent the College of Science, but they will be hosting hours, whether these will be in person or virtual. They come in 1 hour a week, and these don't require any appointments. You just come on in. If they're available, you just sign up. If it's virtually, they'll let you know and you can log in to meet with them. And again, academic advisors, one thing that I want to stress, not only are they there to help you with your course planning, they're there to make sure that you're making progress towards your degree, helping you fulfill your major requirements. There are also university requirements, such as different GEs and other university requirements to earn your degree from San Jose State. But they're also there to help you, point you in different directions related to, opportunities to help you, get a deeper understanding of your own interests, your own academic aspirations, career-related aspirations. They may know about internships or scholarships. So really, it's important to foster those deeper connections with advisors, not only during time of registration, but have that communication, have that relationship so that they can best support you in meeting not only your academic needs, but your career, any personal aspirations that you may have. And so, like I mentioned, we have those liaisons that come to Centro that have been connected with us. They themselves, many of them also identify as first in their families to go to college, also identify as Latinx, so they have that clear understanding of what you may be going through. And we also have office hours with our Career Center advisor liaison, Sandra de Leon, and she's there to help support you not only with connecting you to different internship opportunities that may be available, not just on campus, but off campus. There's also job opportunities. There's what's called Handshake, and that's a great platform for you to be able to search for these various internship and job opportunities in the community. But she's also there to help you support with, as you prepare for maybe interviews with employers or for internships, she's there to support you with that and give you tips and strategies. She can help you build your resume. I know that that's something that folks always look to, and sometimes you have to pay for those after you leave the university. That's something folks as outside vendors charge you for. So here, I don't like to say it's free. I want to stress that you're paying for these services with your tuition and your registration fees. So make sure you take advantage of it while you're a student, because they're super supportive. And once you leave San Jose State, te cuestan más, right? They cost you a little bit more. So make sure you connect with our advisors. And other opportunities that you will find by engaging with us at Centro, as some of you heard earlier, we have various workshops on building your academic skills and strategies to excel both inside and outside of the classroom. So we'll be having those workshops. You heard Nicolas talk about graduate school preparation. Dr. Barrera helps also co-lead some of those workshops. In fact, we will be posting some of those recorded workshops on our website in the next couple of weeks if anybody's interested in looking at those to how to prepare for graduate school. One thing that's tentative right now, we do have an annual 2.5-day leadership retreat focused on Chicanx Latinx Student Success. We are in the planning stages of that, and it may be virtual, given, again, SIP restrictions. We don't know what that's going to look like, but we do have a plan should it be that we can't meet in person. We will have more than likely a virtual format of it, but there's more to come on that. We talked about our social pláticas, career-related panels where we invite some of our alumni to come back and talk to you about their experiences post-San Jose State. Elisa mentioned and highlighted some of the workshops that Celinda will be hosting on just how to enhance and make sure that your well-being is taken care of, especially during this time. And that also includes the support groups. And before we wrap it up, I'm going to turn it over to Yesenia and Nicolas one more time to share more tips and strategies for online learning success, knowing that a majority of our classes will more than likely be online starting in the fall. And so I want to have Yesenia and Nicolas take over. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. So I've been at San Jose State now for 3 years, and one of the biggest things in transitioning to this virtual reality was how to adapt from learning on campus to now learning at home. And so one of the things that I had to do for myself in order to continue to work hard and succeed in school was communicating my class and work schedule with my family. So as many of us, I also identify as first generation, and it was already difficult, to communicate what I was doing on campus with my family. They didn't go to college, and so they don't really know what it is or what the experience is like, going to school. And so I had to not only tell them my schedule with class and work, but truly communicate it in depth and letting them know what I was doing. And so now that I was at home, it made it a little bit more real. So I made sure to explain to them, what it was learning online, what learning online was, what Zoom was, what school for me looked like, and what work looked like now that I was doing it through my computer. I wasn't doing anything else. I was really working, but through my laptop. And so with that, another big thing was calendar planning. So I made sure to stay organized. Sometimes, or now with this new transition online, it was difficult to stay on top of time and knowing how to manage my time from home. I didn't have the physical environment of learning on campus, so it was a bit difficult to adjust in that way, but I made sure to be proactive and productive with my calendar. So managing my time, being accountable with my assignments. So making sure that I was aware of what assignments I had and when they were due, so I wouldn't have to fall back and then pick up the curb later. But another big thing was setting goals for myself, so daily goals, just so I was still on track with what I wanted to accomplish before the semester ended. Another big thing was creating and finding physical space at home to study and work. So I don't have a desk at home, and it can be difficult to, find that quiet space, that mental space to really focus on what I was doing. So whether it be staying in my room and using, my dressing area to focus, to use my laptop, or being in the living room and in the kitchen table and, you know, having like a space, a free open space to work. And another big thing was emailing professors. So with the transition, it was difficult sometimes to know what I was supposed to do for assignments or how the course was going to go. So making sure that I was still communicating these questions and comments on assignments and tests with professors. And as a personal practice, I always emphasize the help that journaling has done for me. And so this holistic approach to learning and adjusting online was important for my own sake, to stay motivated, to stay connected, and to truly embrace the moment and stay present during this time. I know that it was challenging to adjust, but doing, you know, this journaling practice, it allowed me to still stay motivated and stay consistent with my academic work.
Hey, I hope everybody's still engaged and paying attention. So what's really cool about Yesenia is that we work really well. And I think the dynamic at work has been both fun and been really cool. And I really wanted to reiterate her points. I think those are all very helpful. I know that going from in-class sessions to then virtual sessions was challenging for me. And I think these are some of the other points that I could add to Yesenia. It's if possible, the designated space and making sure you are kind of comfortable. I know for my major, for example, classes are 3 hours long. And so I thought virtual classes would maybe be shorter in lectures, but they weren't. And so it was very important for me to go get a chair. I went and bought a chair for myself, something like as small as a detail as that. I made sure that, well, I'm going to be in the semester, I'm going to go get a good chair. Taking notes during lectures, I realized that sometimes the syllabus didn't change too much, but there was important deadlines that were shifted that as a result of students asking the professor for more time for projects or assignments, and or some assignments were removed altogether. I recall quite vividly some students that weren't in class, unfortunately did not know, and so they would in turn make up these assignments. And so it's kind of like, you know, didn't really benefit them. So to save you that, always take notes during your lectures, even if it's not necessarily about the subject, but about the important notes about dates and turn-in dates and upcoming projects. So you never know how helpful that might be. And I do recommend you do that. Practicing designing into Zoom. Zoom is a weird thing. I thought it was like Skype, but it's not. It's probably a lot easier. And so with that being said, though, I have now realized that it's easier because I've used it quite a bit. And if you're not familiar with it, or if you didn't use it during community college, maybe you are going to use it now, or maybe you already are pretty like in tune with it. But I definitely recommend that. I know some of my classmates were having trouble. I've had trouble with it, both setting and signing into them and all the different features that Zoom offers. So definitely practice once you gain access, and once the semester starts, you know, early on. I'm talking about them. And one of the last points that I want to do is don't forget to take breaks. I know for me, like I said, the classes are 3 hours long. The gap with in between classes was about an hour and a half. And so what I would do is just get up, stretch, make sure I get a snack, and I kind of move around, just because, you know, you are sitting behind a computer and that can be stressful. And also your eyes. In my case, I wear glasses, as you could see. And so, you know, making sure that I do take care of my well-being. I know Zoom calls seem like an easy thing, but once you have 2 or 3 a day, which in my case I did, because I did have my schedule set up that way. And so just making sure that you do take care of yourself for the semester, as to not wanting to add more stress to your plate. And that's kind of it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicolas and Yesenia. At this time, I'm gonna invite my co-panelists to show their beautiful faces one more time as we wrap up this webinar. We want to encourage you to stay connected with us, and there's several ways to do that. If you want to learn more, I had mentioned a little bit more about our history and how we got to where we are. Some of you may not know, Centro is only 2.5 years old. The efforts and the initiatives are not. They started a long time ago, but that was because the students and faculty and staff organized and fought for these services to be available. And so I feel that this was a tremendous gift, especially that some of the students that have now graduated left for not only you all, but for us as a community to have. So I want to acknowledge that, and a little bit more of our history is on our website. We are very active on Instagram, so you can learn more about the various events and the pláticas that Yesenia was referencing a few minutes ago, also on Facebook. If you have any questions after this webinar, you can always email us. Here's our email, chicanx@sjsu.edu. Even if it's not related to Centro, if it's related to housing, to financial aid, to academic advising, that's the one thing that we specialize in, is putting you in connection, not just to an office, but to somebody in that office, right? And so that's something that we're really proud of, is that we know people. And so that's why we talked about one of our approaches is the relationship building. And so I can tell you, someone had asked a question about Chicana studies. So I'm not just going to say, go to the department. I'm going to say, go to Dr. Barrera, and maybe I'll do an e-introduction that way, so that you actually have a person to connect with and not sending you off to the cloud somewhere. So that's something. I also want to remind everybody that in a few minutes, there is also going to be another webinar focused on first generation experiences. And so I'm going to ask Elisa, actually she went ahead and posted that already in the chat. If you're interested in joining that webinar, you can go ahead and join. And lastly, if you all are interested in volunteering with us, there's also an opportunity to be involved. Unfortunately, we only hire a limited amount of students to work with Centro as a student success leader each year. We actually just finished our round in interviews for next academic semester. But if this is something that you are interested in, you want to develop your leadership skills, I encourage you to volunteer with us. Again, you can just email us and we can go ahead and send you the link to a form for you to give us your information, and we can follow up with you. And one last thing, I do want to let you know that we are going to be developing a little bit more of a formal peer mentorship program for next academic year. And this is a great opportunity for you to connect formally with any of our student success leaders to make sure that you have the tools and the strategies to transition to San Jose State. It is going to be on a volunteer in a volunteer format, and so it's not mandatory, but we do ask for a commitment. So if you feel that that's something you want and you need, we will be sending more emails out to you later this summer, so stay tuned for that, because we would love to have you be a part of our familia in that way. So before we part, I just want to turn it over to my co-panelists if they want to share any last words of advice before we wrap it up.
I would just reiterate what Lily already said. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. We're here to serve you. Estamos para servirles.
And to just add to what I had to say about connecting with professors, I'm available this summer if you want to practice reaching out to a professor before you actually start the fall and meet your professors who you'll have starting in August. Hey, just send me an email. I'm happy to set up a one-on-one meeting, and you can get the first scary office hours out of the way early and move on with your life and know, yeah, I did that. Like, I can do this again. So you can reach me at magdalena.barrera@sjsu.edu. Thank you, Elisa, for putting that in. Please, reach out at any time. And a little plug for Chicano Studies, you got to make it a part of your time at SJSU, and I can help you do that too.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, welcome to La Familia for those who already committed, are on their way to committing, or even that one person who is still undecided. We are here, and we are here to help you in your journey and share this exciting journey with you all.
All right, no last words of wisdom from our student success leader with the fruta stand background.
In case you're wondering why I have a fruit stand, it was brought to you by popular demand. I don't know. All my Zoom meetings, it was the most non-distracting thing. But no, I'm excited. I'm hopeful that we do and we will meet for all the students that did attend. I hope this is one of those bonding experiences where it's like, hey, I got to meet some of the student success leaders and staff, faculty at SJSU, and they were super welcoming, super sweet. And so I hope that you eventually get to meet every single one of them. They are great and wonderful people, and that this is something that, gets you motivated and excited for your fall semester. I know it's a big step, and so congratulations on that. And so, adelante, échale ganas.
Muchas gracias to my fellow co-panelists. Muchas gracias a ustedes for joining us this afternoon. We are tremendously proud of everything you've achieved thus far, and we're super excited to see what you will accomplish. Even if you choose not to come to San Jose State, we are still here to support you if you have any questions. We hope you could find the support you're looking for at whatever institution you decide to go. But for those of you that have chosen San Jose State, welcome to La Familia. The Spartan community is here to support you. We're excited. And much love, cariño, amor, nos vemos. Thank you. We'll hang out for a couple of minutes. If anybody has any questions, I'll add our Elisa's Spotify list. If anybody's interested in learning more about what her playlist includes. But we're around if anybody still wants to ask us any questions on the Q&A. And that's Nicolas's playlist. We could play Nicolas's playlist.
Corona, COVID-19 does. Oh man.
We can look at the rest of Nicolas's playlist here.
Whoever put I'm dead. I know. Hey, ever since shelter in place happened, you look forward to the smallest things, like throwing out the trash. It's like, hey, this is probably as far as I can go.
We need to get Dr. Barrera's playlist on our Spotify
I was
list.
just about to say, how come no one asked for faculty playlists?
Stay tuned,
We're
everybody.
building on, see, that's what the next students can help us with. They can help us reach out to the faculty and get those playlists going.
What motivates them in the morning,
I know what, yeah, Dr. Barrera probably has like heavy metal.
Me?
I can see it.
Oh my God.
The questions come in.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for joining us. We will be available via email and those different platforms should you have any other questions. Thank you for joining us. We hope you have a beautiful day ahead. And if you want to see us again, we are repeating this presentation at 5 o'clock in case you came in a little later. So thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.